Hello, Tiago. I am Waki, and I am a big fan of you. I read a lot of your newsletters and your blog, so it really helps me a lot. And I have two questions for you because I know that we always saying that knowledge is power, and a well-organized second brain may increase the power furthermore. And I would like to ask you, how do you measure the contribution of the second brain to your specifically in your professional life? Because you've been working with some corporation, you've been working as a consultant, and how does the second brain actually contribute to the professional work of your life?
Yes. Yeah, great to connect with you, Waki. Thank you for your support. We have this expression, knowledge is power, but it's interesting to compare to electricity, because even with electricity, we have something called a battery. It's like if power doesn't have a place to be stored, to be contained, it just kind of flies and dissipates away in the air. And this is how I think of my second brain. It's like every single time I have a good idea, I'm putting it in there and charging this battery that is my second brain. So as a consultant, you are hired to do your very, very best thinking for your clients. I don't know about you, but I have great difficulty doing my very best thinking every single day. Some days I'm hungry, some days I'm tired, some days I'm stressed, some days my kids kept me up all night. There's many things that get in the way of doing, my very best thinking. But my second brain is like a backup system. When the power in my first brain is low, I can turn to it and access all the amazing ideas I've had for many, many years in the past. And I'll just give one example. One time, I was asked to run a workshop for a group of executives at Toyota Motor Corporation. And I had 48 hours, 2 days. And I thought I was going to go crazy because 2 days was not enough. But I just said, okay, let me only use resources and slides and examples and frameworks that I already have in my notes. And I did the workshop, it was a success. And all the executives told me, Tiago, you were so well prepared. You must have prepared for weeks. And I said, yes, but they didn't know that I only prepared for 2 days. So one last thing I'll say is just, if you are paid to think, if your job is to think, you cannot, trust me, you cannot depend on this biological brain to be perfect every day.
Thank you, Tiago, for answering the first question. And I have a second question is that many of my readers have also asked me that how much time and energy do you think it takes to maintain or to process the second brain, maybe daily? And how much time do you spend, and in what occasions do you use the second brain? And what do you think, any tips or tools that can help us to reduce the burden?
Yes. So the biggest mistake, I want to tell you the biggest mistake that people make when they begin to build their second brain, which is that they think they're going to create this huge, incredible, sophisticated machine. But that's really not what, if you take that approach, it will take hundreds of hours and you will never finish. The right way to build a second brain is to just start on one or two of your most important current projects. And then to ask, what information and knowledge and research do I need to move this project forward? And then take maybe just 10 or 15 minutes when the project starts to bring all of that information in one place instead of having it spread over 10 different places. So my real answer is, it really is just 10 or 15 minutes at the beginning and then 10 or 15 minutes at the end of the project to save any new knowledge that's been created back. You recycle it back into your second brain. You know, a second brain system, it's not like a house or a car that it needs constant maintenance. You can leave your second brain, you can leave it to the side for weeks, months, and there's no negative impact. It's really just a support system for those moments where you think, oh, yes, maybe you're on a phone call with a client and you can't remember that one fact. In that moment, you can just turn to your software, do a search, find the answer, and that is all the time that you had to spend to use your second brain. I would say you have to experiment with both ways. There's some projects that are too big and you have to break them into pieces, into smaller projects. Often that's the case if you're trying to do something that is too big, too ambitious, and you don't know where to start. But in other situations, you have to do the opposite. You have too many small projects and you have to combine them into one project. Often that's the case with an activity that is easier and familiar, and you can actually do like a big batch of it all at once. By the way, this is why everyone's second brain is unique and different. This is why I can't build a second brain and then just give mine to you. I wish I could, but it depends on your skills, your personality, your situation, your circumstances, your goals, your culture, your language. All these characteristics are why each person has to build their own second brain. So what I would say is a second brain can be useful because that experimentation, before doing it in your life, you should do it in your software. It's almost like your software is like a little playground where you can try things out and see what works before doing it in your real life. Sometimes in my notes, I will imagine whole new worlds or whole new futures or whole new decisions as a kind of experiment. And then only the best things do I take into the real world. So I don't know if you can see this, but I just put in the chat a link to one of my YouTube videos that gives a summary of 68 different second brain apps. And I know that is too many. So I put a second YouTube video where I explain, basically I guide you in how to pick the right app for your personality and your thinking style. And I'll give you a little preview, which is there are 4 types of note takers. This is what the second video is about, is there's gardeners, architects, librarians, and students. So depending on which of the 4 categories you fall into, I recommend a completely different kind of software.